Evening, everybody. Welcome back to Castle Combe TV. And I got to pick up straight away. Gerald Howes made the comment, dilly dilly seems an age since the last time. It really does, doesn't it? I have to take the blame for that one. I humbly apologize. It was all me. I think initially it was busy leading up to a break, and then I went away with the family for a little bit, came back for 1 week, and then nipped away, including the Thursday night last week. So it had to wait till this time, but it kind of fitted fine because we've got the preview for Bank Holiday Mondays. It's been ages since we've had a race meet as well, hasn't it, to be honest with you? So it was the perfect time to lead us in and welcome everybody. Hope everybody's been well. It's kind of a different summer, isn't it? But it's still better than last year, let's be honest. Tim Perry, one of the mighty Orange Army. Evening all. Dilly dilly. Hope you're all well. Evening, mate. Lee White, evening, ladies and gents. Evening, mate. Dave Rogers, another one of the mighty Orange Army. Evening, guys. Evening, Lucky. Have a good one, brother. And I'm sure he will. He's in the background. I can see him there. I'm waving at Lucky. He's in the background. Trust me, he did just wave back at me. He's very different. He's there with a coffee. Guess what I am? Chilled water. Honest. No one will believe that anyway for a second, will they? But hey-ho. Stuart Tinker Taylor. Hello, mate. Hello, Chris. Hope to make it Monday to be a Camp Softcore fan again and watch the Fuffers rule again. You've got to do it. We might even have the championship maybe decided on Monday. So you've got to make sure you're there, mate. It'll be good. And hope to see you in the paddock. Absolutely. The paddock is back open for everybody. You can walk all the way round again now. And you can go into the race paddock. I've got to tell you, and I'm sure Lucky's going to confirm this when we speak to him in a minute, everybody's delighted, both sides of the fence, that it's back open again and that we can just all get back together. It's a big, big part of all racing circuits, but I think in particular Castle Combe. So it'd be so good to see so many of you there before I disappear up into the commentary box as well, and you'll be able to see all the drivers. Todd Pearson, quick hello before I go on stage at the Gloucester Guildhall. Good luck, mate. You got to remind me again what your musical artist name is. I always keep forgetting it, mate. But best of luck with that, buddy. Katie Plant says fastest Punjabi. He's going to giggle at that because I was asking, am I allowed to say that? And the answer is I'm allowed to say it. And he's got the hashtag fastest Punjabi as well on his name. You'll see in a minute. It's so cool. Aid Marful, evening. Darren Duffield, one of our hot hatch racers. Hello, Chris. Let's go racing. Let's do it, my friend. Chris Mason, our resident ambulance man. Good evening, all. Hope everyone is well. Paramedic Mason is a legend, and it's good to see you back, mate. And I hope Joshy and Emma are well as well. Keith Rain, our superstarter. Good evening, all. Good evening, mate. My good lady, gin-flavoured iced water. See? That's what she's done for me, is gin-flavoured iced water, Your Honour. I ain't driving anywhere, so I'm fine. Jazz Sapra, see you guys Monday. We're all coming. Jazz, I was hoping we might have got him on at some point. He knows that I always make these jokes, is that Jazz, he would race beetles, like insects if he could get in them, because he's just always racing wherever he can. He's always got to be racing something. He's another one of my favorite characters. Such a lovely guy. And he would just race every single day if he could, and he will. He'll race skimming pebbles across a lake if that's all he had. Tim Perry, the Dawesy water. Yeah, I've got to give that the name. It's called the Dawesy water. Absolutely. Our very own Emma Strawford. Evening, Emma. Evening, all. Looking forward to seeing Lucky. Absolutely. I will get through everybody and then we'll bring him on. Just enjoy your coffee, Lucky. It's fine. I'll be with you in a minute, mate. Kipo says, evening, guys. Hope everyone is well. Looking forward to Monday, but more power than the C1 this time. Yes, he's been off racing the Citroen C1s, and he's back in his usual beast out in the saloons, and we look forward to seeing him back out there. Chris Rumsey says, when is Forge? Ooh, now you're testing me. The best thing to do is to go on the Castle Combe Circuit website, and in fact I am just quickly doing it right now. 11th of September, Saturday the 11th of September it is. Chris, hope that helps. Thanks, Todd Pearson. He says Brother Nemus, that's his music artist name. Thank you, mate. Ambulance driver, please. Sorry, mate, I'm doing a million and one things. Jamie Peters Ennis, evening, everyone. Sadly not at Combe this weekend. We'll be at Brands for GT World Challenge. So am I, mate. So I might see you there. I'm on the mic Saturday, Sunday at Brands Hatch doing GT work, covering GT World Challenge and Classic Sports Car Club. What a wonderfully eclectic mix that is. And then scoot back Sunday, get some sleep, ready to go again on the Monday. But you're with Sussex Road and Race Minis in the Turbo Tin Tops off to Donington to help Bradley John in Time Attack. So he's not with us on Monday then because of that. I got you. That makes sense. Oh, my dad's watching as well. Evening, son. Great to see you again on Castle Combe Live. Evening, Dad. Good to catch up with you, and thank you for looking after our dog when we're away again, obviously. Chris Ignall. Hi, everyone. Watching from a cruise ship off Cornwall. Enjoy, mate. Have they put us up on the big screen? I know you were watching some filming Under the Stars yesterday, weren't you? It's Lucky, for goodness sake. They should have us on the big screen. Do you not know that? He's chuckling away in the background. But we'll be back in time to assist Stuart Hignall on Monday. See you there, mate. Nigel Forrest from Alton Park, neck of the woods. Good to see you, mate. Evening all. Lee. I'm assuming that Lee 001 space CR is Lee Frost, because he says coming to beat Jazz. There we go. The whole crew are going to be there. We're in trouble. No worries, Chris. I'm glad that helped you, mate. But always just have a look on the castlecombecircuit.co.uk. Jason Tyler says, bringing the family to Castle Combe on the 18th of September. First visit to the circuit. Okay, so that's finals day, I think, isn't it? Good man, you're going to love it, and look forward to you and the family being there with us, and keep us informed of how you get on. Lewis Bird watching on YouTube. Good evening, everyone. A greeting from sunny Weymouth. You're in Weymouth, eh? You're down to be racing on Monday, though, aren't you? And your dad is, so hopefully you will be. Jazz Sapra's laughing at Lee. We ain't even got there, and they're fighting already. And here's an answer to your question. Katie Plant, are comments seen here? No. Yes, of course it is. It's right there. So put them up there. The bad news for you is I see what you put before I put it up. But there we go. Gerald Howe, shout out to all the Dilly Dilly gang doing the go-kart challenge at the circuit on Sunday. Ah, okay. I like the sound of that. Mary Ward, Nathan Ward's mum. Or should I say Nathan's Mary's son. You got the idea. Looking forward to Monday, and I bet you are, because with the paddock open, I would imagine you and Lucy, instead of being up at Quarry, will be able to come and get properly involved again. How cool is that? Wayne Ellis coming Monday to cheer Darren on. Cali Plant. Sorry, I didn't see that big enough on my screen. Cali Plant. Sorry, Cali. Yes. So yes, they can be seen there, but not clear enough, it would seem. Sorry, the eyes are getting old. Right, that's enough of that. I'm going to bring the man himself on. Get yourself ready, Lucky. Here we go. We're going to bring... This guy is someone that we've we've kind of adopted as one of our own. There's no question about it. And I love the fact that even he said he's really looking forward to coming home on Monday. He lives actually up in the Midlands, but we've just adopted him as one of our own because he comes out, he races well, he races hard. He brings some incredible machinery, but he's one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. And I always get to catch up with him at various different paddocks around the country, and we always have time to catch up. It is, of course, Lucky Khera. Hello, mate.
You're right.
I feel like I should have a big round of applause noise effect there, really.
That was some introduction. It's like you got me sweating here.
Yeah. It's so good to see you, mate, and the wonderful trophies in the background there as well.
Yeah, good to see you too, and appreciate you asking me to come on.
No problem. I mean, I tell you what, I'm going to speak on behalf of everybody who's going to be there Monday, because I've been nagging you for a while about this, is bringing the Lambo out to play, because this is the new one this year, the Lamborghini GT3, the Huracan GT3, and you're bringing it to Combe on Monday.
It is. It's a serious piece of machinery, and sort of looking forward to putting it around the Castle Combe Circuit. On cold tires, no tire warmers, straight out there. But yeah, apart from the adopted part of it, my brother's always told me I'm adopted anyway, so you know, few homes here and there.
Well, you're properly adopted by us, mate. We love it when you come down, and you know it's great. We're seeing obviously the likes of Jazz and everybody. You guys come and bring such an atmosphere, including when you decide to not take part in the second race of the day because you've gone off and found scones and cream, and you're enjoying the scones and cream in the atmosphere of the paddock. You even do things like that.
I was actually speaking earlier to Alan that I can't remember the name of the coffee shop now. It's just up in the village, and yeah, scones are in order on Monday lunchtime. That's for sure.
Just don't let it stop you coming out this time, all right?
No.
Get the time in properly. Although Jazz says got a pro driver coming, Brian as well.
Yeah, we've got Brian Bransom coming, a Castle Combe virgin.
He's going to get hooked.
I am looking forward to see how he comes over Avon Rising into Quarry.
What's his background then? We will talk about you, but just seems we brought him up. What's his background then?
BMW's E36, done a bit of endurance, Kumo, and various other stuff in the past.
I love it. And so is he just a friend of the group, or is it rather than family?
Yeah, he's part of the group, and we're coming along together, and we've been doing a bit of racing together, and he's a top lad.
Oh no, I like that. I asked because there's quite a lot of you who are actually related, aren't you? I'm trying to remember. What's Jazz to you?
Jazz is my brother-in-law.
That's right. I thought it was. Yeah, I thought that was right. And
Lee's the adopted brother.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And obviously we have the likes of Sonny and
Sonny's Jazz's son-in-law.
That's right. Crikey. Right. So I mean, I've missed someone out, haven't I? There's another Khera comes, isn't there?
Simon Khera. Yeah,
that's it. And
he's my uncle.
Right. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. It's wonderful. You guys you just love motor racing, don't you?
Yeah, no, absolutely love Castle Combe. You know, as it started on the lead up to this, it showed the cars, and it's got a picture of the sun coming down on the circuit. And you know what? I just can't wait to be there and see that glow on the circuit. And you can see it on Avon Rise, and it's just like, you know, that's the one. Is that the one in the background now?
It is, yeah, it's in the background though, but so we can't really see it. Hang on, let me 2 seconds. Let me remove both of us. That's the one, isn't it?
That's what it's about. And just the people around there, whether it's the spectators or, you know, the marshals, big shout out to the marshals. Love you all, you know, appreciate what you guys do. And just the club itself and the friendliness, and, you know, it's quite easy to be adopted.
Yeah, and it's always got a wonderful crowd there, hasn't it?
It has, which makes it even more special.
I bet it. I mean, especially now we're back to some degree of normality where, you know, okay, it came back that we're allowed more people around the spectator banks, but they can come into the paddock again. And it's just amazing feeling, isn't it?
And the different kinds of races that are there, from the single seaters to, you know, and then you got a vast array of machinery like the Dodge Vipers and Nobles, and it's Lamborghinis, and it's just amazing. I think it's great.
It really, I mean, we saw in that feed actually. You, I think it was the last time you were here. Actually, was the McLaren.
Yeah.
And that was quite a piece of kit. You've sold that one on now, haven't you, to get the Lamborghini?
Yeah, that's right. Sold that on and sort of jumped into Lamborghini GT3 too. I've only done a few races in it, but you know.
But I've got to tell you, I commentated on you. I'm trying to think now. Is it Donington Park, beginning of the year? I would imagine it was GT Cup.
Mm-hmm.
It was either GT Cup or British GT. I can't remember which one it was. And it was like, I can't remember whether it's the first time you'd raced it. I got a feeling it might have been, but it was certainly very early. Yeah. And I said, even in the live commentary, it was like going, this is like he's had this car the whole time, and it seemed to fit you like a glove.
Yeah, well, you know, if it didn't fit like a glove, I would have made sure it did fit me like a glove, because the car's just out of this world. It does suit me. I do enjoy driving it, and I think for me, that's the biggest part of racing, is enjoying it. You know, I think I've passed that pro window.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested actually, and I'm conscious that I'm now doing this the wrong way around. But let's just naturally flow with this for a second. Is that you and I were having a conversation at one of the circuits, and I asked you, you know, what's out of the different things, you know, we've seen you in BMWs, we've seen you in Ginettas, we've seen you in Porsche in the BTCC supporting championship. The McLaren, the Ferrari 488, which I know you love and have had great success with as well, and still going, and the Lamborghini now GT3. Your favorite, you told me before that you got the Lamborghini, was the Porsche, because you said it is a real beast and a challenge to race that thing. How is it now you've got the Lambo?
Yeah, scrap the Porsche. I think with Porsche, unless you're only doing Porsche, I don't think you can excel in it. Well, I can't anyway. I think you just need to be solely doing Porsche. And as you know, I've got sort of serious commitment issues. I like to jump around into different championships and different cars, and you know, and so it's a very competitive field. The Porsche field is. So is the rest of the racing. But I just feel for myself that I would need to solely commit to Porsche to get my head completely around it.
Because it is totally different, isn't it?
It is. It's very different.
Quite a monster. Okay, well, we're going to come back to the racing thing. I've said this to you up front, is that I was going to do this because people don't know the man behind the myth, behind the racer, behind the helmet, behind the cars and everything. I really wanted, because I loved it when you and I were speaking, and sort of like suddenly realised what it is that you have done. And first of all, I'm going to do is I'm going to just share a screen, because there's probably a whole lot of people are going to see this and go, oh wow, we do know that. I'll just bring this up, share screen. He says, hopefully it's going to, there we go. KTC Edibles is the full name, isn't it? And many of you, I'm sure, will suddenly go, hold up, I recognize that logo, and it is, because you'll see it in supermarkets. When I showed my wife, she suddenly went, well, come and look at this, and took me to the cupboards and showed me, look, we got that. It's a very romantic night, but and but it's, you know, people will know. And I'm just going to share one other thing just very quickly on that front. It's just a quick video. Oh, I need to, let me come out of that a minute. Ugh. Oh no, I've gone and messed up the screen. It never trusts me in technology, that's the problem. Right, let me pop that up to full, and I'm just going to share a very short video. That's one, I think I saw, this is actually from a little while ago. It's only 30 seconds, people, but just watch it, because you'll suddenly recognize it even more, I think, for a lot of you. Let me bring that up. Right, here we go. For some reason, it's audio. Oh, we're getting lag on it annoyingly.
No need to hide as easy as KTC.
So there we go. Just a very quick one, purely because it's one of those ones that, and I'm sure, Lucky, you're there going, really? But it just brings to light.
I must share something with you.
You
carry on. My cousin just texted me and he says, "Oh, nice that you're on the show and that you look like the English version of the rapper Fat Joe."
Me?
Yeah.
I've got to look up and see who Fat Joe is, but I'd imagine that's probably not the nicest thing. But
lyrics first.
Oh, charming. I probably wish I had half his money, but yeah, there we go. I wish I was Fat Joe then. Right, so take us back, Lucky, because we were chatting and you're going to have to remind me the details of this story and take us through it again, because it's about your dad carrying these vats of oil or something to that. Where did it start?
Yeah, so it started sort of at the end of the 60s. And my father was sort of delivering groceries on bike at the time, door to door. And they were approached by, I remember their names, even Ivor and Josie, with the vacuum filling machine. And so they bought a 210 barrel litre of oil and they started filling by hand into sort of glass bottles and delivering them door to door at the time. So specialty oils, mustard oils and stuff like that. And then it just slowly progressed from there. And we now sort of supply to anywhere from Morrison's, Asda, Marks and Spencer's, right down to your corner shop or fish and chip shop. And that's what we pride ourselves in is the delivery into various streams.
And massive diversification in reality with the KTC brand is quite significant, isn't it now?
Yeah, we sort of have about 1,000 products, whether it's tomatoes or spices, ghee, and various other products.
And that's headquartered in Wednesbury, isn't it?
Wednesbury's headquarter, and we have a couple of more sites satellite around the country.
Wow. I mean, I just love that whole story. This is self-created. It's been built up. I think you said it was your dad, your grandfather, and then your dad's brother joined in once various bits have been established. And was it in something like the mid to late 70s, it became a limited company?
Yeah, early 70s, very early 70s.
Right.
So it all sort of started taking progression in about 69 or something like that. And then, it just slowly took off and, kept the hard, I say took off. My dad put endless hours and days and nights into it, and so did my granddad and my uncle.
What's that phrase? The overnight success that took 20 years to do, or whatever it might be. Yeah,
that's the one.
I know what you mean. And you're obviously on board and have been for some time, and you're operations director.
I am. I mean, my father was sort of a strong believer of getting us into work, and summer holidays. If you want the trainers and the jeans and whatnot, then you need to earn it. So many a time at 13, I'd be on the packing line, which was allowed back then. And a day in the lard packing plant would seem like an eternity. But at the time I hated it. I'm grateful for it now.
Yeah, and I'd imagine being operations director it's probably given you that sort of priceless insight into what you're doing now.
Yeah, I mean, I can do sort of most jobs on the factory floor because I've physically worked through there to get to where I am. And I wouldn't ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't or couldn't, kind of thing. And that's where it lies, really.
No, that's where I kind of assumed you were going to go. And I know you're sort of you're also involved even to director level of a number of other things. But I know a couple of the things that we really wanted to pick up on The first one, Seasons Rehabilitation Centre.
Yeah, so Seasons Rehabilitation Centre is something that's really close to my heart. It's a charity that has sort of free charity beds for people with life problems or predominantly drug and alcohol issues, where their lives have broken down and lost sort of connection with society or their family. And, you know, I think we all know what drugs and alcohol can lead to. And yeah, just quite passionate about that. So just pride ourselves on being able to give a free service to people who can't afford it.
And yeah, I see, like, for example, we offer a free bed at any time, that kind of thing. You really are that outreach for them.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah.
No, fair shout, my friend. And the other one as well is something. Now we've mentioned about your father, and I promise you I won't go excessively deep because I know it's still raw. Because sadly we lost him. It was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was March. It was March.
And I know that that's hit you very, very hard because you were clearly very close. Not just close, but I would I be right in saying you put him on a pedestal?
Yeah, my dad was my best mate and my hero, and I know that's sort of a cliche, but I can hand on heart say that we sort of shared an office for 19 years, and he sat opposite me for about 19 years, and wow. So he knew everything about me, you know.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
yeah. And it's sort of it's a big shock when you lose somebody who you sat with for possibly 60 hours a week for 17 odd years. Yeah. I'm going to show you something quickly if you don't mind.
Yeah, please do. We got to hope we don't lose you now, but
no, that was my dad's desk.
Oh wow!
And that's my dad up there.
Wow!
And I'm literally going to turn around. That's my desk.
Okay.
So you know, it's been a massive loss, but sort of grateful that I got that time with him. Whether it be we never had anything unresolved. You can't keep things unresolved when you're 60 hours a week with each other.
Very, very, very true. I mean, you saw I brought up the message that my dad's watching. Mum will be there as well, and she'll listen every now and again. But Dad will be sat there watching and listening to this, and I'm exactly the same as you. Is that, you know, we're best mates. We've gone and watched and done things together. And I worked for him for 13 years as well, and absolutely, I learned from him, and I put the majority of what I am today down to him, and so I can relate to what you're saying, right? It's a very tight thing, which then leads me on to the other foundation I wanted to touch on, because I know, like, you've got quite a moving tribute on the top of your helmet to your dad, and on the top of the car as well.
It's on top of the car. The tributes to my brother who passed away when he was 48.
Sorry, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
But you've got the George Khera Foundation, which is your father.
Yeah, George, he's known as George to everyone. And we sort of lately, we had started discussing sort of a homeless shelter. You know, that's high on my agenda now. And so I've opened a charity up, and it's called the George Khera Foundation. And I'm going to start it small and grow organically. But the aim is to sort of house homeless people. Give them a postcode, tap them into sort of what resources they can tap into, and get them into their home and back with their families, hopefully.
Wow. I mean, it's just wonderful. And that's why I wanted to make a key thing about this, is that as a businessman myself, is seeing this great success that your family started, you've continued to build it up. And, you know, we're not even touching on countless other things that you're involved in reality, but there's this, you know, this wonderful notion of, that's just two charitable elements that we're talking on about: the support center, rehabilitation center, and the foundation for the homeless. So I know that's something that not a lot of people would have necessarily known about you, and you know, I take my hat off to you, and thank you for everything you're doing on behalf of everybody. I'm going to now bring it back. So we've got emotional and all of that side of thing. Where did the love of motor racing start from?
Well, when I was 13, when I was 14, I sort of got caught for driving on the road, kind of thing, and so it's been from a very early age. I don't know, handbrake skids in car parks, in Ford Transit vans, and all that kind of stuff. And then sort of as you grow up and you can afford things and buy cars and trips to Europe with Jazz and Lee and various other people, and going on to the Nürburgring and Spa but I think the turning point to get into racing was Lee and myself went to Alton Park, and he was in a 4-wheel drive turbo car and I was in a 4-wheel drive turbo car, and we absolutely annihilated everyone all day, and thought, wow, we're really good at this. So we bought 2 E46 M3s, the 2 cheapest ones in the country. One was from Scotland, I think, and bought them the same day. And we did a little sort of wheels and strip out, and didn't know us from our elbow really, and so went to Castle Combe. Lee wrote his car off on the first day. Went to Alton Park and I wrote my car off.
Oh.
Very quickly realised we can't drive for toffee, so those cars became caged and kill switched, and we went racing.
Fair shout. And when was that? How long ago was that?
5 years ago. 5 years ago.
Was it only 5 years ago? Wow.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like you've been around forever, to be honest. It's quite mad, that's mad.
Yeah.
Well, presumably you then, did you then sort of progress up through the cars and self-taught, or did you sort of get some coaching and things like that?
So we did our odds, and I think it was Peter from the motor school. He goes, oh, where are you racing, lads? And we said Kumo Class A, and he just looked at us. He says, oh, so we went to the Kumo Championship and sort of raced in Class A, and got severely battered. We learned quick. We can, sort of started understanding about what it takes to get a lap time kind of thing and stuff like that. And then I think about a year and a half into it, we hired Calvin Burt to give us some coaching, and he very quickly tore me down as well, saying basically, what the hell are you doing? And did a bit of coaching there, and then Lee had a bright idea. I didn't know what a Ginetta was at the time, to be honest. And he says, let's go Ginetta racing. And so we went up to Ginetta factory and to buy a car to test in and see if we got on with the car and stuff like that. And we left the Ginetta factory with 2 cars and an entry to the Super Cup.
As you do. That's a good learning car and championship in reality, isn't it?
Oh my God, it was the learning was very steep and very quick, and it was, but it's the best thing we could have done really, because at that point we went into that championship with a full-time coach, with testing program, and all that kind of stuff, and it was that year that sort of excelled us to where we are now, really.
Right. And I'm trying to remember, you've every now and again you sort of rock up in, whether it's British GT or GT Cup, and you'll suddenly have a pretty decent pro with you. So I'm trying to remember some of the names you've had. Yeah,
so in Ginettas it was Declan, and then since then pretty much we've been with Ross Wiley.
I thought it was, yeah.
Who's a good friend now as well, and he's done nothing but support me through Ferrari Challenge, GT3 cars, and various other bits and bobs.
A very, very good pro. And I've always found it amazing is that we have, let's class it as the AMS racing, that you know, you look at and go, they're incredible. You know, some of the best AM racers out there are just mind blowing. You know, I class like the likes of yourself and Michael Igo, for example. You know, top level AM drivers. And then the pros get in and they'll still be quick. And you think, well, what are they doing so differently?
Yeah,
little bits, isn't it?
You know, it's a tenth a corner or a bit more each corner, depending on how many corners there are. That's how much faster.
Yeah. but of course you get to pore over all the footage and the telemetry and everything, and I guess is there an element of trying to give you not just seeing it and see what you should do, but having the confidence that goes, oh right, so I could do that and I would survive.
Yeah, no, it helped me immensely, but I think the key word is profession.
Yeah,
you know, it's not my profession. I'll catch him one day, Chris.
Absolutely, I have no doubt, especially when you say 5 years is all you've been there. And honestly, the way you took to that Lambo in particular was crazy. So let's go through it. So you've gone Ginetta, you've got BMW, Ginetta.
Yeah.
You still jump out in the BMWs. You still love those, clearly.
I have a very dear attachment to BMWs. I think it's because they're road cars and they're being adapted, and you can see the time and effort that goes into making it what it is.
Yeah.
And I just, and then you can make it do that on a track, and it's just really enjoyable. I just you know, really love racing them.
No, I can tell you definitely jump back out them. And then so that was the BMW, the Ginetta. What came next?
Yeah, we jumped into GT5, the little Ginettas for a couple of races.
Yeah,
and did a weekend of that, which was quite fun. And then it was the Porsche. We did Porsche.
Yep. Yeah. And I think we have seen you at Combe in the Porsches a couple of things, and Lee in his as well. We've seen, as well. Which came next? Was it the 488? Have you had more than one Ferrari? Or is it just this 488?
It's the 488. What came next was the 650 McLaren.
Right, I couldn't remember the order of those ones, so it was the McLaren before that. I got you.
Yeah. And that's where we jumped out at Castle Combe and Brick Car, and me and Lee shared it as an AM pairing.
Yes, because that had quite some history, that McLaren, didn't it?
It's got some Castle Combe history as well, going backwards at 160 miles per hour.
That was quite a scary incident, that one, wasn't it? And you were just an absolute passenger in that one, without question. We won't go into too much detail because it'll get you agitated again. I have no doubt.
No, I'm not agitated, but it was quite an experience, and thank God it wasn't a costly one.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was going to be, didn't it? Crikey, wow, that looked terrifying through the first corner, full chat. Wow. But I mean, good history in terms of it was owned by quite an interesting team beforehand as well, so it was a good prep. But you then ran that side by side with the 488, but that was in the Ferrari Challenge races that you won the championship last year.
I did, gratefully been able to win that championship, and it was great, and I loved it. I love racing the car. I get on well with that car. To the point where it's a bit like a BMW for me now. I can jump in it and go at a decent pace from get-go kind of thing. So yeah, I've really enjoyed that championship, and you know, the dealers, and you know how they put the show on, and you know, it's a good weekend. It's a really good weekend.
Yeah, it's a very different one, that one, isn't it? I think that was where you and I last season at Donington Park, the Ferrari Challenge races, where we got into the detailed conversation about the history and everything like that, stood at the back there. It's a really intriguing weekend. From my side, it's probably the least work I have to do because it is all about you guys, the cars, fully supported from Italy and everything. And there's very little off. There's some classic Ferrari racing and you guys, and that's it.
Yeah. It's almost like an escape for me. It's sort of, don't have to really think about anything. You got good food, pasta, pizza going on, and stuff like that. So it is a really enjoyable weekend. But I do like GT racing with various different brands in it.
Yeah.
And I think at the moment that's where my heart lies.
And I can understand that, and that's where now you've got the Lambo that certainly you kind of shown up in GT Cup and in British GT this year as well. Not a full stint at it yet this year, by the looks of it.
No, not a full stint at it yet. I do want to get there. It's been a bit of a difficult year. You know, I was in Misano at the World Final for the Ferrari Championship when Dad passed away, and since then, I got out there and I carried on, and carried on with work, and still got a family, and it's just been a really difficult year. And let's be real. Sometimes I can go out. I've been to the racetrack this year, and I've got there, and I just don't feel right, and I don't race, and I disappear. But that's just where I'm at. I could go to a racetrack and be full of anxiety and the fear and the loss and all that kind of stuff. But I just make sure that I can identify it, and just disappear if I need to, and it is what it is. Then, you know what I mean. So hopefully a full campaign soon.
And I look forward to that because I've had the privilege of covering a few of the British GT rounds and everything, and it's such an amazing thing, and it is kind of that natural progression for you, isn't it? In reality,
yeah, it is, and I do enjoy it. There's a lot to it. There's timings and where you need to be, and tire windows, and
there is for me and the commentary team as well. I tell you, right, 17 minutes past be here and 18 and a half minutes be there. It's mad. It's and
I don't me as a person, I don't really like to be that sort of structured. You know what I mean? So it's like a new thing to me. We just want to go racing, and sometimes you get a bit late for the grid, and sometimes it's a nightmare. No, we shouldn't, but
or you go and get scones, one or the other. Well, the beauty is Monday is that I would like to think it kind of feels like quite a nice escape for you because it's so relaxed, and because you've got to feel the love from around the circuit, from everywhere, and you get, it's not serious, it is relaxed, and it's like everyone's appreciative to see you there, and especially bringing the GT3 Lambo out. I mean, I'm interested from my side. What was the journey of thinking and maybe testing for you to go to a Lambo GT3, the Huracan? What took you there?
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Well, it's a very a competitive car, whether it's Europe, whether it's UK. It seems to fare well, and there's a cost of running it, which is a bit more reasonable than some of the brands, and
right,
and drivability and stuff like that. And I do like the brand, and I love the look of it, and I wanted to race it. So,
but you jumped straight over for example, certainly you and I know this in GT Cup for instance, is that there is the Lamborghini Huracan GT3, but there's also the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo car that has the Super Trofeo races, plus they race in other things. You jumped straight over that and went straight to the GT3.
Yeah, I think the Super Trofeo is pretty similar to the 488 Challenge. In the way it sort of operates, as in the aero and the speed and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I enjoy a challenge, and I just want to try various stuff and give it a go.
Yeah, I only ask because I find it intriguing of where people find their preferences. I mean, if you look at the grid for this weekend when I'm at Brands with the GT World Challenge Europe, is that the main cars seem to be loads of the Merc GT3s, and actually, unlike in British GT, this one's actually got loads of Audi R8 cars as well.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I noticed that. There's space on that race.
Yeah, well, it's mad, and they've got loads of success brands in that particular car, and there is the Lambos there, but they're kind of not quite as prevalent, are they? Really?
Yeah, from what I've been told and what I understand with the Mercedes, they are very friendly.
Okay.
I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've been told by various people who have driven them. And the Audi is basically a Lamborghini platform, isn't it?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It is a stunning car. Let me just quickly check, because I know that we'll have had comments coming in and possibly questions. So let me just check this. Ricky Metcalf says, we're coming Monday and looking forward to it. I should hope so. Tim Perry's going to be there as well. Lewis Bird is entered with an orange heart for the Orange Army. Obviously, we had that terrible news, didn't we, from Brands Hatch with Robert Foote losing his life, one of the Orange Army. Very, very sad news. And I have been back there since, actually, and they've removed that Marshal's post completely so that the Marshals aren't in that same spot. And there's just flowers there now, which is quite an emotional sight. Let's have a look. Keith Nglube, or sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Good evening, everyone. Keith, all the way from Johannesburg, South Africa. Looking forward to hearing Lucky and possibly having some questions for him about his involvement in the Ferrari Challenge. Don't worry, we'll check those questions out first. Emma Strawford says he is ours. End of. There you go. There's no escape, Lucky.
I am.
Tim Perry, one of the Orange Army. Oh, wow, defo looking forward to it. You are awesome, which is just a lovely comment. But Sanjit, I'm his biggest fan. I don't know if you knew that. And Jazz Tot said he is the fastest Punjabi in the world. You are, and I think statistically that's correct anyway, isn't it?
Oh, considering there's not too many Punjabi races. I'll take that anyway.
Absolutely. Dave Rogers, that we both know well, is thank you for sponsoring me the other month, my brother. So can't wait to see the Lambo on Monday.
Can't wait to see you guys as well.
He's just been nuts with his charity work, hasn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, it's amazing what he's doing for charity, honestly. It's,
yeah.
Really...
Well done, Dave. Brian Solely Motorsport evening, and his driver is the one that could win the tie up the Formula Ford Championship. Emma Strawford, of course, added he's coming home. One of our other racers in the hot hatch, even though won, yay, it's race weekend, super excited. Mike Cotton saying, even though sorry I'm late, Garden called. Mike. Let's have a look. Thanks for the comments. I can see some people saying hi to me. Thank you for that. But let's get a look. Pippa Gore, good to see Pippa's watching as well. Nick Hunt. Pippa Gore, she's my dancing. Thanks, love. Sorry, I just had a top up of gin bought through for me there. Sorry, yeah, gin flavored waters. That's right. Sorry, mate. Yeah. I nearly forgot then. Pippa Gore's my dancing marshal. She says, hi, Lucky. Love seeing you at the racing circuits that I get to. And she gets to a lot these days. She's traveling around doing all sorts. Dave Rogers does say that the McLaren was lush, though. Did you feel a bit of hurt when you got rid of that? Or did you sort of, now you've done it and that was it?
No, I didn't really. No, is the answer to that.
Yeah, fair enough. Say no more. He doesn't want to get sued. Clearly, we'll keep him out of trouble there. Jamie Peters Ennis says the Porsche Cayman is a great little car to have known Lucky and Lee for a few years now. Proper lovely guys and true enthusiasts. Just what our sport needs. And I agree, because I think that's the conversation you and I have had, Lucky, many a time, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And just love the sport. Want to see sort of it grow, really. I've got a few thoughts in my mind, which I won't share yet, but sort of in sort of giving people with the talent a bit more opportunity, really. So I've got a few things working on in the background, and I'm sure they'll come to the forefront soon.
And I'm just going to wind people up and say that I know what they are. My lips are sealed. Well, I know what some of them are, probably, I would imagine. Knowing you, Lucky, I probably don't know all of them. Chris Mason, our paramedic, says, Lucky, would you like to try Le Mans?
Firstly, hi Chris. I'm sure I've been with you a few times. You off round Combe. That is my goal, and that is my dream, to eventually race Le Mans with the people surrounding me at the moment.
Okay, so it's not just getting there; is that you genuinely want it to be the people that you're with at the moment?
Correct. I don't want to just go and drive in a team with another 4 people or whatever it is that I don't know. I actually want to go on a journey.
Wow, that's an even nicer answer. I really like that one. Well, we'll all be glued to that and supporting you. I can tell you there'll be an awful lot more people than watching it that will be supporting you. I tell you now, mate. Dave Rogers says the decals on the Lambo are awesome, and that's changed over the course of the year, actually, hasn't it? Because you kept it this wonderful. It was matte black, wasn't it?
So it's bare carbon, and but the bare carbon on race cars is not finished very well, because it's there for a purpose, and it's usually either painted or wrapped. So I just covered it. Well, Onyx, who do all my cars, they covered it in a what do you call it? A see-through PPF, a matte PPF kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Brought out the carbon to make the weave look nice. So
and then you've added the is it orange and green?
Green, yeah.
That was sort of like halfway through the year you suddenly added that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I it's such a dramatic car. I sometimes feel that by putting too much wrap on it, you take away from the car, and I just wanted to appreciate the car when I saw it, and not necessarily just loads of different colors.
Yeah, and it works, mate. I got to tell you, I loved it from the first minute I saw it, and that was even before you had the colors on. And it works. It's just some subtle colors on it. So I agree with Dave Rogers' comments there. Jazz asking if he signed on. Jazz, you can always be safe that you'll sign on. You'll sign on before Lucky does, because we always wait to the last minute.
Changed. I usually just rock up.
I know, and we need you to not do that. Sign up, so get yourself in there. Mike Cotton, who will be, I presume, Mike, we will be set up at Quarry Corner. It's always exciting to see what Lucky turns up in, and I agree, and I'm sure you're fully aware of that, Lucky, is that people just suddenly love seeing you turn up with something. But what I really wanted to do was let people know more about the man, especially as it's such a lovely story. It's not just dubious money or anything like that we see in some places in motor racing. It's like this self-made thing by the family and the extended family, and yet you got this obsession, and I think I'm going to call it an obsession with motorsport, with cars, with speed.
Totally. And the environment, it's a big part in my journey, is the environment and who I'm around. And it's like when I meet you, we always have a smile and a joke and a laugh, and it's nice. That's what life's about, isn't it? You know what I mean? Relationships. That's all you have in life, really, isn't it? It's various relationships.
Well, and then this, of course, was where Combe TV was born from. Was all about that extended family and trying to sort of like keep everybody together, keeping everybody feel loved and supported, and all of that. And the biggest thing for me with you guys is that even if we suddenly lose you for race 2, which I really hope we don't do on Monday, but if we ever do that, and if anybody walks into the paddock, you guys will still be there. That's the irony, isn't it? You don't just suddenly, you've not disappeared. You're still there, sat in the paddock, enjoying the race paddock.
And it's a paddock to be enjoyed, though, isn't it? You know, I mean, look at the various people in there. I could mention loads of names, but the battles I've had on track with Sturgis and Ilsa and Billington, it's the BMWs and Bird. I could go on. I could keep naming people. And even though you might have a little rub here and there, you come back in the paddock and it might be pissed off for an hour or two. It's all good after that, you know what I mean? And
100%.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Paul Wiltshire says, "I'll come and polish the car if you do Le Mans." There you go, mate. You've got.
Yeah, I'll hold you to that, but you'll have to do more than that, mate.
Yeah, exactly right. Chris Mason says, "If you ever get bored racing, come drive the med cars." That's
I know
so
how
cool.
they operate.
Yeah. Jeff Gendel, dad of Alfie Gendel, a very promising young driver that is worth you keeping an eye on, Lucky, as well. I tell you, young Alfie Gendel is a promising young man. Love seeing what Lucky turns up into race. Such a great supporter of the GTs. And absolutely you are. Alfie and I should be up at Quarry Corner with his Junior American Cup car on display on Monday. Great. Wow. So that car is going to be on display. It is a mini NASCAR.
Yeah.
And this guy's already, he won the championship last year, and he's still going.
We'll come over and say hi, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it's just wonderful car and wonderful talent. And he's just too young to be able to get out on circuit yet, but he's just there ready to sort of take the opportunity as soon as it comes.
Yeah.
Talking of Quarry, Mike Cotton confirms, "Of course I'll be at Quarry. Need you ask?" I apologise, mate. I know. What a fool. What a fool. Pippa asked the question, where are you both this weekend, Chris and Lucky? Where are you anywhere Saturday, Sunday, mate?
No, I'm not.
What?
Unless you can get me on the GT Open.
Yeah, well. Yeah. Well, I'd imagine it's jazz racing somewhere. He doesn't let days go normally, does he?
We're not. We have a wedding this weekend.
Goodness me, they managed to keep you away from a circuit for that. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm at Brand Saturday, Sunday, and then back for this on Monday, so it'll be good. Tim Perry says the environment is very intoxicating. That's the word, isn't it? It really is.
It is like your water.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very intoxicating water. It's very clever. It smells like gin as well. It's mad. Lewis Bird, one of our racing drivers, what car would you run or drive if and when you do Le Mans?
Not a clue, to be honest. I sort of not done. It'll be a GT3 car. I guess some Italian descent.
Yeah, I suspected that. I think that's more your bag, isn't it? Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, Jazz has said wedding, and then he's put a black flag. So he's been disqualified for racing for the weekend. He's at a wedding. Crikey, we're going to get a pent-up tiger in Jazz when he turns up on Monday. Then, if he's gone 2 days not in a racing car, that boy's addicted, isn't he?
He'll be growling when he comes into circuit.
He will. Pippa, you're at Brands as well. I should see you there then, Pippa.
There you go.
Listen, Lucky, I could just carry on talking forever with you, and we'll obviously have the pleasure of seeing you on Monday. I'm conscious that you've been incredibly good to us, and you're still at work to do this because you had slightly better internet, and you've got the trophies behind you and privacy and everything else. So
that's the one.
I feel bad that I've kept you away from dinner and all sorts now.
No, all good, mate. All good, pleasure.
Make sure you go back and you cook with KTC tomatoes and ghee and everything else. But
well, I hope McDonald's use it. So if they do,
do they put it in scones? I don't know.
Hopefully, actually, I'll check when I go up on Monday.
Exactly, it's got to be KTC ingredients in scone. Yeah. We ain't having it now. We ain't having it. Listen, Lucky, thank you so much for joining us, my friend, and can't wait to see you and the rest of the crew that are going to be there on Monday.
Yeah, see you Monday.
Thanks, mate. All the very best.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, buddy. Wow. I mean, what an incredible guy. Just that you can probably see now why I was adamant I had to get Lucky on this show. I've been very lucky to have many conversations on mic and off mic with Lucky, and he's just an incredible guy. And I know that we're all going to be super excited to see that phenomenal Lamborghini Huracan GT3. I mean, it is a beast of a car. It looks good. It sounds good. It goes good. It's massive as well. It really is big. If you've not been in a position to see them. Honestly, it's just an oddly big car, really, really long, and it's just special. I like the fact that Andy Abrams has put, don't personally know Lucky, but Jazz is one of the nicest guys you'll meet in the paddock. Absolutely. That's the thing. And we were possibly going to have Jazz on as well. I probably end up doing another show with Jazz, to be honest, because he's just a lovely guy, and like I say, he's always got to race something. Jazz, I mean, the whole group do. They're just wicked. Lee Frost is a great guy, and all of the crew. Mike Cotton says, great to see the face behind the blur. Yeah, that's a good way. I say behind the helmet, behind the blur, even more appropriate. That's what I tried to do with this show. Is I want you to see, especially when I'm very blessed with what my job is, that I get to see and learn what those people behind the helmet in the blur is. And it more often than not, it's really, really good and really intriguing. And I just thought it was worth people knowing that. Tim Perry says, thank you, Lucky. See you Monday. And Emma Strawford rightly says, what a ledge. We love that boy. We do. He's one of ours. Lucky Khera is, without question, one of ours. Right. I'm just going to sort of whip through and just preview Monday. Can't wait to be back there. I think we've all probably missed the race in there, and it's so good that we're going to be back there again and going. And it is a packed program. And I have to take this opportunity to say thank you to Steve Weston and Richard Beard, and I think a few others have got involved in helping, because of course we've lost Joe Lukovitz, as many of you know. She has moved on. Ironically, I might see her Saturday and Sunday because she's at the Classic Sports Car Club now, and they are supporting the GT World Challenge Europe. I think that's the way I'm supposed to say it. I don't know, politics and all that I don't get involved in, but I think that's the way I'm supposed to say it. Bumper grids and everything, so I might see her there. And but it means that Steve Weston's come in relatively in the cold and sort of had to learn rev up and had issues with it and getting everybody booked in and doing it all, and really doing a wonderful job. He's even managed to get some sort of interim entry lists while it's still building, and thank you, Steve. He took time out to get that through to me while he was still trying to get everything sorted. But since we started with GT Championship, sponsored by Reese Insurance, I can tell you that we've still got Oliver Bull. Oliver Bull, thankfully, is out in the Flirtations Vauxhall Tigra silhouette. Interesting, though. Thank you, Jeremy Owen. He always gives me updates about this, and they're brilliant. I love. Keep them coming, Jezza. I love it. Sorry, I shouldn't have called you Jezza there, should I? Sorry, mate. He said after the... Oh, no, I've got the wrong piece of information there. I hope that I've now got... I was trying to sort my paperwork out everywhere. That was a previous one. Where is it? Because they're not even on the tyres that they were expecting to be on, or they should be on. So they're going to go into it. Here we go. Relatively blind. So he says our tyres that we use and have developed the car around are not available for the next race. So we have a wider rear width and wider rim and different compound, but same construction. Fronts are different compound. Wow. No testing was available as fully booked, so will be an interesting day on Monday. No other changes. We now seem to be on top of the braking issue, running at a constant 600 degrees. It's just mad. I mean, that Tigra silhouette is just so quick. And we're going to see that Tigra silhouette against a GT3 Lamborghini Huracan with Lucky behind the wheel. How cool is this going to be? Discs are okay, and a set of pads now lasts for 2 races. Fair shout. And, of course, it's really close in the championship fight with Tony Bennett. And I've seen Tony Bennett at circuits, not with him racing, but his son racing. A very, very talented young driver in the Genettas. So keep an eye on out for that one as well. Really, really great. But so Oliver Bull in Class A, he's going to be hit a little bit at the moment, and I'm hoping this will change. He's currently the only Class A car. We've got Jason Garrett in an E46. Doesn't tell us what class he's in, but I'd imagine he's going to be a Class D car. presumably, although it is a 4 litre, so I'm not sure if that affects it. Class B, Tony Bennett, Stephen Lansley in another Caterham CSR, Ruben Taylor in a 206. I'm pretty sure that's the Silhouette car as well. And Alan Hamilton in his Westfield. He's got it repaired, and I did see, I don't know if you're watching, Alan, but I saw your post today that you had it out testing, and you were hoping it was all going to be okay after the big incident at Tower a few races ago. You didn't have the confidence to push it hard, I saw, but it was pointed in the right directions. So that was good news. So as it stands, Alan Hamilton's back out. Doug Watson in his Ferrari 458 Challenge. That's great news. I saw him going well at Brands Hatch in Festival Italia the other week. Jordan Billington's back out. Fantastic. We haven't seen him for a little while. He's out in his Lamborghini Gallardo GT3, the ME7 motorsport car. Keith Butcher's back in his Audi R8 LMS Ultra as well. Into Class D, we got Jazz Sapper, as we know, in his BMW. David Tyson in his VW Golf. Mark Sear in a BMW E46. In Class E, we've also got Adam Perrett in the Clio and Alexander Baldwin in the Civic. And Class F, which I think is the invitation one from memory, Brian Bransom in a BMW E36 M3. It says 15 so far, but add lucky, that means that we got 16 in the GTs, and we could still have a few more because there was a bit of time building up. So fingers crossed, that's going to be pretty impressive as well. I'm going to very quickly, because I should have done this at the beginning, and it allows me to just have a quick Jimmy Riddle after that great interview, the GTs, and we'll move on to the other championships. I didn't time it quite right, but I wasn't far off. So there we go. And I've also remembered that what I should have also been doing is that I was able to, instead of just talking about everything, I'm going to pop this over here so that you can see the entry list as well. So there we go. That was the GT entry list, as you see, with all of their entrants and sponsors. If we move our attention now on to the Formula Ford Championship, and there's a good number of interesting additions to this one as well, in all honesty. Obviously, we've got last year's and double champion Luke Cooper's out there in his Swift Cooper. And in terms of the overall championship, he sat there in second on 132 points. But Oliver White, who we see is out there in the 94 car, he is he's on 160. So I think he may be able to, especially as it's a double header. If he gets the results he's hoping for, he could potentially tie this the championship up this Monday. Big ask, as we know, all sorts of things can happen, and we certainly saw that happen to some of the other drivers on the last race meeting as well. So we'll wait and see how that one's going to go. But we've also got, look at this, car number 21, Tom Mills. That is Kevin Mills' son. We all know Kevin Mills, another one of the institutions that's many of them that are now running the teams, of course, here as well now. And Tom Mills has been having some really impressive races in the National Championship. So this is great that we're going to see Tom here at Castle Combe in a Kevin Mills racing car. Vincent J. Felix Fisher's back out. He had some really, a mixed bag of luck, didn't he, in the last race meeting? I wasn't there, but I just heard that it was a mixed bag for him. I think I'm right, and I'm not just imagining that. He had a DNF in race number 1. and it put him out for the second race. Sadly, he wasn't able to get out, and I think it was contact that caused that one from memory. So that's a real shame. Tom Hawkins, Kieran Atwood, Ben Mitchell, Bob Hawkins, Oliver White, Adam Higgins, of course, back out there. We don't have a number, but Brindley Kinch is out in a Ray GR09. Into Class B, we've got Paul Barnes out there as well in another Solely Motorsport, and the Kevin Mills run, Nathan Ward. He is looking good for the Class B championship. He's sat on 88 points compared to Paul Barnes, second on 63. I haven't done the maths on it, but I'm not sure whether that possibly means that Nathan could wrap up Class B this weekend with it being a double header. But I'm not sure. I might be wrong with fastest lap points and things like that. Who knows? But he does seem to be dominating, Nathan Ward. Great to see him back and racing and doing so well. And he'll love it that more of the family will be able to be with him now that the paddock is open. I have no doubt. Sean Macklin rounds out Class B. In Class C, we've got Michael Phillips, Richard Higgins. Good to see that the Higgins family is still racing hard in the Riadro Racing run cars. Richard Earl, David Cobbold, Paul Morecambe, James Colburn, and Steve Bracegirdle. And it's Richard Higgins that's leading that championship on 79 points, with Bracegirdle on 56, James Colburn 49, and Michael Phillips only 44. So there's kind of four of them, all pretty close there. Class D, Alan Slater, Alicia Hamlin, Peter Hannum, and Bob Higgins. Now, I've got a feeling that Bob has already won this championship. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I saw a post that Bob Higgins has secured Class D. So fair shout, awesome performance. So that works out as we stand at the moment. It's great to see how it's bounced back. 25 cars in our Formula 4 championship so far. I always say, never panic if you see any of our series or championships, if one of them just suddenly drops down. They've all done it. At one point or another, they've done it, and then they've picked back up again, as we can see with our Formula 4 championship. It is wonderful to see that it's back to full health and full entertainment value as well. The Hot Hatch series, sponsored by Motul. We've got Joe Dorrington, Tim Adams, and Sam Stride in Class A. Tony Cooper, good to see Tony back in the 106. Another one that's gone from the C1s to the 106, back to his 106. And Joshua Harley in an MGZR, a Class B car. Class C, Julian Ellison, Peter Wilkes, Paul Bird, Lewis Bird. So the Birds are there. We've heard from Lewis during the time of this show, and Paul will be back out as well, his dad. Simon Hughes and Sean Deacon. That car's been absolutely flying as well. Class D, Alex Bewley. Class E, the Minis, Dave Spiller, Simon Fisher, Steve Bracegirdle, Darren Duffield. Dave Spiller in particular, we know, is just lightning quick and incredible talent. And I've loved seeing how Darren Duffield has come on really strong this year as well. And Gary Franks is still there in the chomping at the bit as well in the 905 car. Class F, another one of our own, really, Mike Wyatt. Mark Wyatt, I'm thinking of, sorry. Ignore me. Mike Wyatt, Julian Fisher, James Dyer Buffton. So good to see JDB Performance Dude back again. Adam Underhill in his Focus. Ben Watson and Robert Watson, which of course is Doug Watson's sons, in their pair of Clio RS200s. So Doug Watson in the GTs in his Ferrari, and he's got his two lads racing as well. Matthew Johnston, Sam Goldstraw. There we go, Mark White. I knew he was in here. Another one that I class as one of our own in his yellow Vauxhall Astra. We always know that it's Mark out there when it's the yellow Vauxhall Astra. Lewis Clark in his Fiesta, Bradley Thurston, Jonathan Fish, and Matthew Barrington. 30 on the grid so far. Really looks cracking, that, doesn't it? Really, really impressive. Let me just quickly check up on comments and questions. And I know a lot of you were sort of like really focused on the Lucky interview, and I understand that, but please do. We're just previewing the rest of Monday. And Chris Mason says, medical team would like a slightly quieter day Monday, please. That's a fair request, everybody. Elliot Harris, good evening all. We'll be watching the live streams from the Isle of Wight Monday. Best of luck to all at iTech Racing. It's not being streamed, but you will be able to listen to the commentary because we've now managed to get that cemented. So the commentary does go out on TSL now, which is a great progress. Really, really pleased with that. Oh, and Emma's confirmed that Tony and son John were tested today. Yeah, John predominantly is in his Ginetta, But he had to go in Tony's Caterham the other day. I think it's around Donington Park, and he just went, wow, that's crazy. So they were both testing it there today. Interesting. Tony Cooper says, good evening, Chris. Next year's Honda has been purchased. Ooh, going to miss the little 106. Stupid to be paid to be. And I think that he's pressed enter too soon then, hasn't it? But wow, so he's got a Honda next year. So Tony Cooper's in a Honda, but hopefully that 106 will still be out in our championship as well. And Tim Perry says, good to see Julian Fisher out on Monday. Absolutely. So that's why I hope this is working, that we're sharing the screen for everybody. Saloon Car Championship. Class A, love this one. Dear friend of mine, him and Shaz are lovely, lovely couple. Robert Ballard, or Rob Ballard, as I call him. Renault Megane now. I haven't even been able to speak to him yet to find out the story of this. Of course, he had the Sirocco, didn't he? And he's now got this Megane. Still his company, Chippenham Conservatories and Windows sponsored, and it is still in the blue. It's sort of like a pale blue. Well, it was the last time I saw any photos of it. So it'd be interesting to see him out in that Megane. Tony Hutchins back out, good, another one of our own. So good. He took a hiatus, didn't he, for a little while, but it's good to see him back out here again. Adam Preble, again, one of our own. I mean, to be honest with you, all of these saloons, they're kind of, they're all one of our own, aren't they? Adam Preble out in that stupidly quick Vauxhall Astra. Kevin Bird in the Nissan 200 SX. I'm assuming that's still for sale because they've certainly been having that up for sale. Peter Elliston in his Golf. Alex Kite back out in his Audi TT. Great to see that. Obviously, he's been having a few dalliances with the TCR as well this year, not just at Castle Combe. He's gone on, certainly at Brands Hatch. I'm not sure. Did he go to Alton? I can't remember. And Dave Spiller out in his Class A Mini Cooper. Obviously, it kind of feels a bit harsh, that car in Class A, really, doesn't it? But great to see Dave out in that one as well. No Gary Preble. And I know people will pick up on that. And I'm pretty certain that's because he'll be racing. I can't remember what circuit they're at, but it'll be the touring car crowd that he'll be racing at, because he's gunning for a cash prize for winning that championship. So I can understand what he's doing there, sadly. Class B, Jack Bolton on his own in a Mark V Golf, being run by Grant Motorsport as well. Class C, Mark Sutton, last year's champ, of course, still with that very proud number one on this car. James Keeping, he's out as well, and that's good to see that he's out. Of course, as he said earlier, he's been out in the Citroen C1s. And let's have a look. In terms of the overall championship standings, is that James Keeping's on 66 points, leading the way. Mike Good on 60. And at the moment, it largely looks between those. Ben Hindle's at third on 48 points at the moment. So Keepo's going to be hoping to keep that one going. But look at the competition he's got. Last year's champion, Mark Sutton, Roger Good, Mike's dad. He's not going to help him, is he? Ben Hindle, we just said that he sat third in the championship standards in that very rapid Vauxhall Corsa. And I've also just got Chris Mason says, Joshy says, night Dawesy and everyone. Night Joshy, sleep well, mate. There we go. Andy Abrams says Gary's at Cadwell. I couldn't remember where it was. Tim said Thruxton, but Cadwell by the looks of it. Oh, and Lewis Bird says, the big thanks to Grant Motorsport for the hard work getting my car repaired for this meeting. So that's great. Grant Motorsport have been busy by the looks of that then, and that's cool. Stuart Hignall, we heard that Chris Hignall's going to be back and helping his brother out on that one. James Blake, good to see him back out in that MGZR. Of course, remember that had a big incident at the end of last year. Joshua Harley in another MGZR. Marcus Bicknell. Wow, so Marcus Bicknell's coming out in this. I've commentated on Marcus Bicknell, and he's got one of these big ASCAR cars as well. And I've seen him in his Saxo, and I'm sure it was his son sometimes comes out and races in a similar liveried Saxo as well. But that's cool that he's with us. Paul Dickinson in his Mini, Lee Waterman in his MGZR, Steve Everson in his Saxo. And then into Class D, Mike Good, of course. He's been suffering unwell with COVID, I believe, so I hope he's well enough. Get well soon, mate. Anthony Weeks, of course, is out in his Purplex Motor marketing with Grant Motorsport, and Nick Mizzen, of course, the ever-present, definitely one of our own. He found solace with everybody at Castle Combe when he was been going through some tough times. He's out in that Ford Fiesta that started just as a bit of fun and then suddenly realised he was doing rather well. So that is our championships and series. Good grids, good races, and it is a packed timetable. Remember, it's a double header for the Formula Fords, but everything else, he says, just double. A double header for the GTs as well. Although actually, I'm just double checking. Well, the Formula Fords on the timetable is only a single header, but I could have sworn it said on the championship standings, it says it's 2 races. On the timetable, it's only got 1. So I'm not sure what's happening there. We'll have to check that one out. Maybe it's just an outdated timetable and it got switched around because obviously they've been dealing with all sorts of changes and bits and pieces. So it may only be a single header there. We obviously haven't got any Formula Ford races watching because they'd have jumped in and told me. But there's just 1 race for those guys, 2 for the GT Championship. Either that or poor old Steve's going to be flat out again, sorting bits and pieces out. We've got the 750 Motor Club, and I know we love the 750 Motor Club as well. And look at this cracking grid of Toyota MR2s. I'm not going to go through all of the names, but look at it. We've got multiple classes, so it means we've got an overall championship to contend with. We've got Class A, Class B, Class C. 32 Toyota MR2s on the grid. It's just going to be mental commentating and watching those guys. And they're out twice, race 4 and 10 as it stands at the moment. So that's going to be wicked. And at last, we've got the HRDC are with us, and they're bringing 3 different series with them. The first one is the Jack Sears Trophy. Now, many of you will know that. That, of course, is the touring cars, 1958 to 1966 touring cars. And again, without going through them in masses of detail, we got Jaguar Mark IIs, XK150, Mark 1, Ford Mustang, Ford Falcon Sprint, Ford Galaxy 500. Shelby GT350. I mean, can you imagine these things going round the Castle Combe Circuit? Is just going to be amazing to watch these things going around here. Mini Coopers, of course, they're going to be epic, absolutely epic. Lotus Ford Cortinas, Ford Anglias, Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint, Volvo Amazon, Riley, Austin A35, Austin A30, Morris Minor, A40, Ford Anglia. But have a look at some of these names as well. Oh, great to see. Actually, I know it's a message, Richard Fours. Although, let me just check. He is down, but I got a horrible feeling. I don't know whether that means he's not. No, he's not. It looks like he's not going because I wasn't sure if it was just the driver that had pulled out, but it looks like maybe that car has. John Spears, Ben Colburn, Patrick Watts, Mike and Andrew Jordan, they're out there as well. Look at that. I mean, just some wonderful names out there racing in this as well. The Tuckers, the Shepherds, Alex Thistlethwaite, he's forever present in these. The Dorlins as well. Great to see them out in a Mark 1. And I'm missing numerous names. Unsurprisingly, it's why Tim Perry says, wow, so looking forward to these. Love the 60s touring cars. Absolutely. Thorough entertainment without question. Then we... Chaz, don't put me off, mate. With your messages. We've also got the Dunlop All-Stars pre-66 sports GT and touring cars. AC Cobra, Austin Healey, Jaguar Lister, Nobly, Cobra Daytona, Turners, Gilburn, Triumph TR4s, we know they're good, Lotus Elan, Sebring Sprite, Triumph 2000. Such an incredible mix. Richard Fours has just said gutted, not out, so that is the whole car pulled out. Rightly so. Emma's also said Look forward to seeing Andrew and Mike Jordan. Absolutely. We'll love to see those guys out racing, and they'll race it hard. A few more Jaguars, Alfas, Austins, Wolseley Hornet, Ford Mustang Galaxy, 36 cars. I don't think I said how many were in the touring cars, the Jack Sears. 35 of those touring cars at the moment, 36 in the All-Stars. And these Alfa Romeos, I commentated on these guys, what was it, 2 weeks ago, I think it was, on the Festival Italia. Absolutely wonderful to watch. So much entertainment. A big array of classic Alfa Romeos, and they race so hard. They're so entertaining. A couple of interlopers as well on the back of it. By the looks of it, why not? 29 cars, just brilliant. So it's going to be a ram-jammed timetable. It's going to be a ram-jammed entry list. It's just so entertaining. We've got championships that could be decided on our side of things. In terms of the MR2s, just so you know, is that overall is that number 96 Aaron Cook is the one to watch there, with 442 points, 427 for Sean Trainer. Those two are kind of the runaways at the moment. The rest are down in the 300s, but they are both in Class C cars. They'll be key ones. So we'll probably have multiple battles with the different classes, but we'll be trying to keep you abreast as best we possibly can with what's happening. Josh Barrett, I think, is over in the old paddock commentary box, and I think Ian Salmon's doing the interviews this time, and I think they're swapping the other way around for the finals day. I can't wait. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Remember, qualifying starts from 8:30. Racing starts straight after the lunch break around 12:40. Obviously, always keep abreast of everything because it might start that little bit earlier. Tickets are available on the gate. I think you can still get them in advance on the Castle Combe Circuit .co.uk website, but they are available on the gate as well. £20, including paddock transfer for adults. Obviously, under 16s are free. Seniors, I think, are £15 instead of £20 from memory, and you will be able to get in, no problem. We've not got the 4,000 limit anymore, and you can walk all the way around the circuit. And the guys at camp, they've got new fencing up there at the front of the spectator bit, and new banking. Thanks, Emma. She's confirmed advanced sales are closed. Sorry, I thought they possibly would be, but I didn't want to say that. So advanced sales are now closed, but you can get in on the gate. It's not a problem, and do it. Let's get in there. Let's have a cracking atmosphere. Remember, I'm going to be giving out the Twitter handles for the circuit and for myself. Get involved. Anything you see that we don't see, anything that we haven't necessarily heard yet, any shout outs, all those kind of things is get involved. It's so good to all be back together again, and I can't wait. It's going to be brilliant. Get into the paddock. Hopefully I'll see some of you there. Go round, see all the drivers and catch up with them. Get close to the cars again. It feels like some degree of normality is returning. Can you tell? I'm a little bit excited. Listen, thank you for joining us. Thank you so much to Lucky. And I know Jazz couldn't actually physically join us, but he was involved in the conversation enough. Good point. Chris Mason has said, it's great that these restrictions have been lifted, but please, if you can just keep in mind that COVID is still with us. Distance where you can, and if you're going into closed spaces, throw the mask on. I think you will need to if you go into Cafe Bar H. I would suggest if you go into the Loos, do the same again as well. Just keep everybody safe. We don't want to run back. Good point. I've got to bow down to the medical knowledge, obviously, of Chris Mason and crew. Thank you very much. That's a lovely comment. Nigel Forrest says, great show tonight. Missed Combe TV. Thank you, mate. Apologies, I was away for a little bit. It's obviously it's not a job of a moment, as you can imagine, and I did take a little bit of a holiday, but summer season is nearly behind us now, so we'll try and keep this one going, and we'll get some more guests on and all that sort of stuff, and we've got still some events to preview and review yet to come. But thank you so much for joining us, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you at the circuit.